2024 was really a crazy year for Drake and the whole OVO camp. Drake kind of lost his beef with Kendrick, but not only that, he lost his number one eater. DJ Akademiks, currently most known for being Drake's number one dick bender within his camp, and that's really saying a lot because there's a lot of powerful dick benders within OVO, but DJ Akademiks is known to be the top of the top. DJ Snackademics found himself in a little bit of a situation while talking to a 15-year-old because the conversation kind of got a bit inappropriate. Now, if you're like myself, a fan of DJ Academics, you've been watching him since the beginning. Uh, I've been watching him since the Warren Chirac days. If you were in high school when Chief Keef was popping, I was in high school. You know how popular Chief Keef was and how crazy it was when he first came out, and there was a lot of interest within the whole Chirac, the whole beast. No one really saw how deep. No one really understood how deep these beasts got until DJ Academics started covering the situation, and you realize, like, damn, these niggas is rapping about real life murders and whatnot. And then, of course, you have a few key moments that kind of prop DJ Academics up, like the whole Drake and Meek beef. There's also was that Soldier Boy era when he was beefing with, Chris Brown and literally everybody. That was a classic. That's one of my personal favorite eras. But these are situations that really prop DJ Academics up. But I think the number one era that really solidified DJ Academics is when he started doing Everyday Struggle. Now, me personally, I really liked Everyday Struggle. I'd watch it all the time, every day, because it was nice to see DJ Academics outside for once. The show was pretty well balanced. You had DJ Academics who was rather entertaining, and then you had Joe Budden, who was there to pretty much call Academics out on all his dumbass opinions. It was nice. It was nice to see DJ Academics get called out for the stupid ass hip hop takes he'd have. It was entertaining to watch. But I would say that this marked the pretty much. I would say this was the beginning of the end for DJ Academics before he even knew it. Now, of course, how I felt is how most people felt. DJ Academics was no longer in his mom's basement giving out stupid ass opinions. He now had to defend them, and he now had to speak to artists that he would talk about from the safety of his home. Now he had to speak with them one on one, face to face, and this will lead to an interview that will haunt DJ Academics for the rest of his career, to even to this day. And I'm talking about the Vic Mensa interview. Of course, like I said, DJ Academics' first really ticket to his little 15 minutes of fame was the Warren Chirac channel, and there's people who to this day kind of hold that over DJ Academics' head. I kind of have my own opinion, but that's irrelevant right now. One person who wasn't a fan of DJ Academics for his Warren Chirac channel was Vic Mensa, who went on Everyday Struggle, who at first I guess was trying to keep it professional, but Academics being who he is just kind of kept circling back to asking Vic Mensa questions regarding you know, his take on what's happening in Chirac, to where Vic Mensa kind of let his feelings be known towards DJ Academics by calling him a bitch for his content and saying that he wasn't qualified enough to speak on what's going on in Chirac to satirize the entire situation. And I think DJ Academic's response to this situation is really what shaped his attitude going forth when it comes to these rappers. So instead of doing what most people would do in having a normal reaction, there's a few ways to react to someone calling you a bitch. You can say, bro, who are you calling a bitch? Or you can maybe try to play it off on some funny type shit like, damn, Vic, tell me how you really feel or something. Or you could say, bro, we can take this outside. You can do a few things. You don't necessarily have to fight though, but you could stand up for yourself and tell someone to not call you a bitch. You can sit there and at the very least say you're not a bitch. But instead, DJ Academics decides to respond in a different kind of manner by saying, in what sense am I a bitch? Now somehow DJ Academics found a way to respond in the most bitch made way possible. Like he found he in his mind calculated what's the most bitch made way to respond to this to being called a bitch, and somehow he picked the most appropriate, the most bitch made response possible. It was actually quite amazing. But going on from this situation, you could tell that DJ Academics, not just his ego but his manhood, he kind of felt emasculated. Who wouldn't, being called a bitch in front of the world and not really doing shit about it? So so it kind of changed his attitude in the way he handled dealing with people. So from this point forward, he just would continue to go off on individuals, whether deserved or not deserved, talking crazy. Now, Academics to this day, I don't think has ever really talked to anyone crazy face to face, besides like women on Fresh and Fit and his own girlfriend. But outside of that, I don't think DJ Academics has ever talked crazy to any man face to face. He's talked to like a lot of rappers crazy, a lot of producers crazy, and whatnot. But I don't think I've ever seen him talk really crazy to anyone face to face. Now, it's this kind of attitude going forward that would gain him a lot of enemies. And I'll sit there and say this in regards to this in literally any other situation. It's never a good idea to have too many enemies. You can go ahead and ask his big brother Drake about having too many enemies. It's never a good ideal to make so many enemies. And you might feel like you're standing on business and whatnot, but sometimes things aren't worth it. Now, years later, DJ Academics finds himself in a situation where he's being canceled for inappropriately talking to a 15-year-old. We all kind of know the situation and what happened with that. He's on stream with the 15-year-old kid who is a moderator for Blackboy Max, who is another big streamer. And DJ Academics is saying all kinds of wild stuff, uh, talking inappropriate, asking him all kinds of gay ass questions, and then even asking him if there's any 15-year-old girls he can bust down, or if there's any 15-year-old kids for the kid to bust down where he's from, or I don't, just kind of weirdo things. Once that video kind of hit the internet and people saw how weird DJ Academics is, his enemies decided to jump on it, just like kind of like DJ Academics would do for literally anyone else he had problem with. So all his enemies would jump in, and he has so many different enemies, from Freddie Gibbs, Meek Mill, to Brandon Buckingham. Just so many enemies, unnecessary enemies he's made through the years that made this thing blow up even worse than what it should have been. Nigga, like he's beefing producers like Metro Boomin, because Metro Boomin didn't want him to post about him on his Instagram account. He's sitting here beefing with Brandon Buckingham because Brandon Buckingham's going to the hood and documenting things, even though DJ Academics really did the same thing, except for the only difference is DJ Academics stayed in his house. He did it from his house, and Brandon Buckingham actually went outside to actually get the story, which in my opinion is way more respectable. These events will lead to Brandon Buckingham making a whole hour-long exposed video on DJ Academics and why he doesn't like him. And the video almost has like half a million views. And this isn't the only video that came out due to that situation. There are a lot of videos on DJ Academics regarding the situation that has a lot of views. And this entire video by Brandon Buckingham, who's a huge YouTuber, only exists because DJ Academics decided to beef with this individual. Now, also, there's like a lot of videos online about DJ Academics, but that would have been like one less video. And who wants videos about them uh being a weirdo, a PDF, if you will, a groomer is what they're calling him. Who wants a bunch of videos like that with half a million views on YouTube about you. And even in you could understand where mentally this would put academics, because according to WAC 100, WAC DJ Academics was indeed contemplating, you know, unaliving himself, which is crazy to think about, but apparently, in it's WAC 100, so you can take it with a grain of salt. But then again, not really, because WAC 100 is Academics man. So this is they talk all the time. You can even go on DJ Academics streaming channel right now. The last video he posted like 2 days ago, right now on there is with WAC 100. So I even though WAC 100 might not be the most trustworthy person to take information from, I think that we can trust him when it comes to the mental state of academics if he's saying this publicly and academics is still talking to him. But with that being said, though, it's hard for people. Like, you can read the comment section. A lot of people don't feel too bad about academics because this is an individual who met up with Freddie Gibbs' baby mother and tried to do, in my opinion, some of the most demonic, or I think that's his alleged baby mama, and tried to do some of the most demonic things. He used a unborn child to exact revenge on a rapper for making memes about him on Twitter. It's hard for people to feel bad for him. Like, after what he did to people like Meek Mill and whatnot, it's it's you can't feel too bad about him because he's not an individual who thinks about how other people feel, to be honest, and that's just kind of how it goes. He talked crazy about Erica Badu because on years ago on Everyday Struggle, she said he looked like Jerry from Tom and Jerry, or not Jerry, but Tom from Tom and Jerry, which became a meme in itself. So that's probably been in the back of his mind because he's at the end of it all, he's a very self-conscious individual. He doesn't have a lot of self-esteem, and I can see why he doesn't have a lot of self-esteem. He's a fat, ugly individual who is his only redeeming quality is he's kind of funny, but throughout the years he became an egomaniac, and he's always been a loser. So you can see why certain comments like these would hurt an individual's feelings, but then he comes back and says all these unnecessary things. He said a lot of unnecessary things about SZA apparently, to the point where Drake had to check him or ask him to stop all of it because it was hurting her feelings. And now people are supposed to care about his feelings. This is like, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have much sympathy. I made a video a while ago, a long time ago. The video is pretty much unwatchable, but it's a video pretty much comparing DJ Academics and Destiny. It's pretty much Destiny the streamer. It's pretty much was going through this not really a deep dive, but kind of an ideal where I think both of these individuals kind of represent to me when losers get money and how they act when that money leads them to getting women's attention, and how it just doesn't work out for them because no matter how much money you can get, if you're a loser who's not accustomed to dealing with women, you're just going to make a fool out of yourself. And maybe that I think I'm going to do maybe another video like that to really go in depth now that, because like these in my opinion, that these two individuals are just two different sides of the same freaky coin. They're individuals who are losers. They spend most of their time online streaming. When they get canceled, they sit there for they get canceled for like some of the most disgusting stuff, and they want their quote unquote friends, who really aren't friends. They're just individuals they do business with online, but they want their friends to stick behind them, even though they're getting exposed for some of the most disgusting stuff ever. And also, and I already went in the past about how both these how Destiny kind of looked up to to DJ Academics because it was comforting to Destiny that he wasn't the only freak online. He wasn't the only individual who's in a toxic relationship who doesn't know how to deal with women. He's not the only person who wants blind loyalty from his quote unquote online friends. But now that they both kind of share within the same fate within 2024. They're both individuals. Destiny, he's never going to have a career within politics. DJ Academics will never have his kind of his own like media, his own little media that branches off into other stuff like Complex. He'll never have he wanted to have his little academy channel that that has different creators and whatnot. It houses different creators and podcasts. Well, that is never going to happen anymore. I mean, he wasn't doing a good job of making it happen. He kind of gave up when Lil Boom got exposed for being a weirdo. But now it's definitely never going to happen because what creator is going to want to work under him? A lot of creators, no one really talented wanted to work under him to begin with, but now it's for sure not happening. This is all the result of ego. When he got bitched by Vic Mensa, this created a demon within academics where he developed this ego, I guess, in order to protect himself. This ego where he talks to everyone like they're beneath him because he runs this successful media channel. So now he talks to anyone down, even if you're like a successful rapper or a YouTuber like Brandon Buckingham, who probably gets way more views than DJ Academics, but because he's not as prevalent within hip hop culture, Academics talks down on him. He talks down on rappers, whether you're a little baby. Like, the truth of the matter is, DJ Academics is not that person. He thinks he's this individual because he takes credit for getting rid of destroying Meek Mill's career, but anyone could, like, there wasn't much to destroy. Meek destroyed most of his career himself. Like, you're not really him. Like, you're this individual. You try to sign artists because you think you can do what these labels do because you have this influence. Like, you run this media empire in your mind, so you think that you can build up these artists. But what happened to those? What happened to any other artists you signed? What happened to Chosen? You signed some random writer who worked with Party Next Door, and then you thought that you were going to be able to do something with him, but you're not because you're really not that person. That media company you're trying to start, Academy or whatever, nothing came of that. You signed Tory Lanez. He went, not Tory Lanez, Troy Ave, and he went to prison. And now and no one who is within your circle has any talent. Anyone who even had like a smidge of talent got exposed for being a weirdo a while ago. So now you have no one, and no one wants to work under your brand. See, if DJ Academics was smart, if he was smart, he would have started his label under he would have signed his artist and then not told the world that Chosen was his artist. He would have started his own little media empire, but instead of calling it the Academy, you would have called it something else. But you have this big ego where you want to be the face of the brand. You want to be the face of everything so you can tell everyone how amazing you are because you never really got any sense of success any other time in your life. You never got that pat on the back. No one ever looked at you like you were him. You found some type of success because you jumped on a wave before anyone else got to it. While everyone else was still on the radio talking about hip hop, you were one of the first individuals who said, you know what? Let me get on YouTube and talk about hip hop. Let me run my own little radio channel from my mom's basement. You were the first to do that, and not knocking that. And Academics is definitely a hard worker. I can never take that away from him. But he thinks that he's gotten to where he's gotten from just pure talent. No, you got to where you got because of hard work, which is a good thing, and because we're the first to get on a wave. You were the first to sit there and make YouTube videos on hip hop and be able to be the first one to talk about a story before anyone else. But now you live in an era where everyone's streaming. Anyone can make a YouTube video. Anyone can go on YouTube and go live right now. And you're just not as prevalent as you once were, and it's hard for you. And a lot of these people, a lot of these streamers who stream nowadays probably watch your content back when you were at your peak, and now you feel some type of way. Now you're mad because you got canceled, and none of these individuals want to stick up for you because the same way you stick up for Drake, but no one wants to stick up for a weirdo one way or another. And like these niggas aren't they're not your friends. Like just because you go on someone's stream doesn't mean that they have to stick up for you for being a weirdo. And also, you need to stop acting like you're doing like these streamers a favor. Like going on Black Boy Max's stream is just as being around these new popular streamers who's way more popular than you've ever been in your entire career is not like it's not just a one way street. It's going on their streams helps you as well. At the end of it all, do I feel bad for G Academics? A little bit. It's hard not to. He's an ugly, fat slob who's a drunk and probably is just deep down insanely insecure. He can't get a woman worth a damn. He has to fuck on these thoughts who only care about his clout online and the money that he has. It's the only thing he ever has to put people down with is money. We see that on Fresh and Fit. Too bad the woman he was trying to put down didn't care. She didn't care about his money, and that has to feel though. That has to make you feel horrible when all you have in your life is your bank account, and a woman tells you, "I don't give a fuck." You're trying to talk down on her boyfriend, but she still has more respect for her broke ass boyfriend than rich ass you. It's crazy. Will Academics be okay within his career? Well, probably. He'll never be what he thinks he is. He'll never make it towards those lengths. He'll never be complex, not anymore. He'll never be any major, you know, news outlet or hip hop outlet or any outlet in general. He'll never be that, unfortunately. If he would have, you know, put his ego to the side, I think DJ Academics could have ran the biggest news outlet of all time. He could have even had a successful record label, if I'm being honest. But because of his own ego is what stopped him. So at the end of the day, do I feel bad for G Academics a little bit? But this is a this is something brought upon himself through ego and through this need to stand on business because some guy called you a bitch years ago and you never let that go. A woman said you look like Tom and Jerry and you never let that go. That's all been in the back of your mind because you're an insecure loser.